Season 2 of the Pat and JT podcast.
Oh man, I'm here at last. The best time, always gonna be the best. Come on!
Exclusively on the Hurrdat Media Network.
All right.
It is the Pat and JT podcast, 402-403-9478, which I haven't checked our texts in a while, so I'll have to do that, and our email as well. So you can do that, 402-403-9478, text us or email hey@patandjt.com.
Also known as the Bunt Cake Queen, Angie Montgomery is in the studio.
Hi, you guys. How are you? I am the bunt.
You are the bunt?
I'm the bunt in the bunt cake. I'm the queen of that.
Man, I don't ever...
She always shows up with bunt cake.
And I'm not even like a dessert person, but there's something... Because I can always pass on a dessert, but I can't a bunt cake. There's something about the icing, and it's from Nothing Bundt Cake, right?
Oh, absolutely.
Is there any place else?
There's nothing better.
That frosting...
Crazy.
It is.
It's like grandma's.
Yeah.
It's in your mouth. It's amazing.
It's so good. So you're rude.
So started right off. Now I feel bloated.
Right. And I had a nice healthy. I had my banana today. I was on today was my Monday. I put on my sweatshirt I was going to wear today, and it was tight. I had to change to a t-shirt. So I'm like, this is a great day just to eat healthy. And then you roll up.
I ruined it. Sorry.
That's okay.
I know in the beginning of the year everyone's on a health kick, but it says white chocolate raspberry. So does raspberry
fine.
count?
That's fine.
I think that makes
sure.
it
I'll
all
start
better.
Tuesday. I'll start tomorrow. I don't care. Whatever. Thank you for that. That's awesome.
You're welcome. It's
So-
fun to be here. Thanks for having me.
I haven't had you in for way too long.
I know. Those months went
Seriously.
by fast.
We were talking about that. Well, we had Dana Camp was in.
Oh, yeah. I love her.
Same thing. We were like, oh my God, it's been a year. She says, yeah, it's been a year. How can that be?
All right, it just seems crazy. It seemed 2020, even though it was miserable for in a lot of reasons, it went so fast.
It really
was a blur. And we made it through 2020, guys. So
There you go.
Thank goodness.
That's something to celebrate.
It is.
Yeah.
It is. And you're all about that. You're all about like finding the light, so to speak.
Yes.
As we were talking to Dana too, right? The lighthouse, you know, and that whole effect. And that's why we like talking to you guys though, just to kind of get some perspective and kind of a reset, just like, okay, hold on. Everybody's overwhelmed by a lot of things right now. It's kind of interesting is I saw a story about paranoia creeping into a lot of people's worlds because they're working from home and they don't have that inner office connection or just that day-to-day connection maybe of doing their job. And some people said, yeah, but you get to work from home and we can make it work and we still have ways to keep together. But you feel like you're missing out on that water cooler talk or a way to get that. And then on top of it, people are working from home. That's all great, but that wasn't intended to happen while you had kids in the background.
Oh, good Lord.
Right.
And you thought they would be at school.
Yes.
So you're still parenting and doing everything else.
Yeah,
So
there's a lot of change that happened last year, and we're still in the midst of that. But I think that, like you said, connection is so important, and to stay connected, no matter how that looks, and it might look different to us now than it did a year ago. But one of the things that I've been doing in my business is on my Facebook page under Angie Montgomery, I do a lot of lives, and they're just fun, and I've created this kind of community of being able to uplift others and give messages, and like you said, bringing that light to the darkness I think is so important. And when God has us in a place of disruption, there's light at the end of the tunnel. I think we've many people I work with in my business have learned a lot about themselves through this time. It has been a time of reflection, but I can tell a lot of people are just getting a little bit antsy about being isolated.
it's like, okay, I've learned enough.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like we're
good.
kind of over it at this point, I think, for
Yeah.
a lot of people.
Making the best of it. I'm
Yeah.
done. I'm
Yeah.
done making the best of it. Let's
Yeah.
get on with what we know. And we still
Yeah.
want to snap back to what we're familiar to,
Yeah.
or familiar with. So in that vein,
Yes.
looking forward at 2021, and you mentioned your business. Explain what
Yeah.
all you do.
Yeah, so I do a lot of different things. So I am a medium. I'm also a Reiki master healer. I do some shamanic work as well. I do past life readings. I do life coaching. I've actually been a life coach for over 10 years, and I did that in my more corporate career for many years as well. So I just really love helping people through grief, transitions, loss. But what I'm really feeling in my business this year as well is kind of a rebirth for myself of what I really wanted to help people with when I first got started in this type of arena, and it's to help people live their best life. So one of the things I've really been focusing on this year is even through the trials that we go through, there's a purpose in that, and to help people get onto their most authentic path is one of my favorite things. I do love connecting to spirit. I'm a big I have spirits around me all the time. This is what I do day in and day out, and I love it. So I love giving people hope and connecting them to their loved ones, their angels, their spirit guides.
Everybody has that around them all the time, don't they?
Everybody, yes.
But some people are just more, it's kind of like that. How does it go? You know, like when you see, okay, you get a new vehicle and then that's all you see on the road is other people that drive the same vehicle you have. You never noticed it before, but you're like, holy crap, there's a lot of blanks out here on the road. You know, it's like everybody's got one of these, but it wasn't on your radar.
Yes.
Is that kind of what it's like? It's like something you can't unsee once you see?
Yeah, I think so. I think it's awakening. And so I was thinking about that on my drive here, and the COVID and everything that's going on in the world, it is actually a mass awakening underneath the surface. It's to help people wake up to the truth, to help people wake up to their own innate gifts and why we're really here. So yeah, we all have a spirit team around us all the time. And your grandma's by your side, by the way. I felt her.
Cool.
So I felt her. This is my life, you guys. I literally will drive somewhere. I start feeling people with me. Like, hi, who are you?
Yeah.
What are you here for? And I know your grandma's very special to you. I feel she was one of your favorite people. And she taught you a lot about life. And so she is by your side. And I felt her with me in the car. People have been actually spirits. I call them people as well. They are people. Spirits have been coming to me a lot earlier lately than they used to. So if I have a session, let's say at 2 p.m., they're with me for several hours. Like
They're in the waiting room.
for the person. And it's been beautiful because I have the best clients, you guys. I'm so blessed. And a lot of people come back to me again and again. So I get to know their loved ones just as well, honestly, as I get to know them that are in front of me. And so it's so funny because when I have back-to-back sessions, I'll be like, all right, this person's here for this person. And I just kind of am like, all right, guys, wait until. But I love them. They're like my buddies.
That flash in my head, and I know your waiting room is much nicer, but I had a Beetlejuice's waiting room when they were all sitting there waiting for their number to be called. And I'm just like, funny. I'm sure it's much more pleasant where you're.
You just kind of hang out with me. So one of the things I did, speaking about the new year, on one of my lives on New Year's Eve, I popped on live and I was giving
You have to be more just clearer when you say my lives because you talk about past lives.
Oh, sorry.
So I thought you like bumped to another
Facebook
life.
lives.
Okay, good. Thank you.
Thank you.
So like, I did on one of my lives and you're like, ooh, I bounced to the 17th century.
You're right.
Okay.
I just bounced back and forth.
Yeah.
I do have a lot of lives that I've uncovered of my own. And
that's what I'm saying. That's why I got to be just really
sorry,
clear.
Pat. I need to be very clear.
Very clear. Thank you.
So I hopped on my Facebook Live.
There we go. Much better.
On New Year's Eve, and I was giving out people, I wanted to do something different. My spirit guides were saying, give out a word of the year for people intuitively. So I was doing that. So I have a word of the year for both of you.
Okay.
So I'm going to go to, I think, JT first.
Okay.
Yours, so this morning when I was connecting into you guys, it kept saying chances. And then I heard fearless for you. Fearless being your word.
Okay.
But it felt more towards, I was feeling you're going to have opportunities coming up in your personal life that they're wanting you to say yes to. And I do feel like someone's going to come into your life in September.
Oh, it's a man.
Oh my God.
It is a dude.
I'm just saying. And that was actually, I felt your grandma with me on that too. So
that guy.
Grams is helping you.
But I think
About time, Grandma.
About time.
you're going to have an opportunity for a really great connection
Okay.
in this year.
Fearless is interesting because it does it works.
Take chances.
Based on some things that I've decided to do. I don't do New Year's resolutions, so to speak, but I do like regrouping, that kind of thing. And New Year's, why does it feel like it's such it's just another day?
It's a reset. Right. It feels like a reset, but it's just another day.
It's just another day, but for some reason it's like, okay, I've got this whole calendar in front of me. Let's see if we can get it right this time. But I did kind of challenge myself to some things and some goals of some things that I want to do that I had been neglecting.
Yeah.
But it does take a certain amount of I'm not going to be in my comfort zone for some things. Yeah. So, but I'm going to do it.
I also see you traveling this year more for personal. I think there's like
that would be awesome.
Some place you're going to go. It feels like more in the summer that is really soul nourishing. I think it's like mountains is what I'm seeing. So I see you doing just some things for yourself this year.
Okay.
And maybe exploring just life for yourself. That's what I'm feeling for you.
Thank
JT.
you.
Pat, you ready for your word?
I'm ready for my word.
I'm actually excited about your word.
Are you excited about my word?
Yes, it's
Okay.
reinvention.
Okay.
And what I was feeling with this is it's more related to career for you is what I was feeling. So I feel like you're learning a lot and I keep feeling like learning new technologies.
Ooh,
and
okay.
really like stepping into so your reinvention also is kind of followed up by expansion. So how you can expand and grow and get yourself out there more. And I feel like it's more with your work is what I was feeling.
Okay,
and
that's
I
great.
think you might do a training, like something about some type of new software that you might use for what you're doing.
That's actually
and getting
crazy
it out
because I
there.
think like in 10
Yeah.
days we have one of those scheduled already.
Oh,
For new
good.
software. So
Yeah.
that's like your spirit guides are on it.
They're
That's
on it
awesome. No, that's
with
I
me.
cool.
like that.
Reinvention.
They're
Okay.
on
I
it
like
with me.
that.
Yeah.
Oh,
so that
my
was just
gosh.
my
Okay.
little something for you guys today.
But that's cool to have a
awesome.
word instead of just saying you have great things coming or blah. You know,
Yeah.
have a specific word that people can work their goals towards.
Yes.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
My word is vulnerability. And that one is not an easy one, right? And
No.
it's like I've really been trying to connect with people, and one of the things that I've always had a dream of is speaking on stages and talking for God and bringing people back to Him. And I think vulnerability, it takes that to be able to do this kind of work,
Yes, it
right?
does.
Because I think sometimes as a healer, people think that you have everything in order and you've got it all together. And I go through my own stuff. And I've noticed lately, I want to share more about that. And I do that in my book, Faith Walk, but I would like to do that in bigger ways. So
I think
I have a
that-
word too. I don't
yeah.
just dish them out.
No,
I have to
right?
take one.
But you're right about that. I think in any connection with any kind of, if you're trying to get people to understand that they can trust you, is you have to be vulnerable and be open so they can see warts and all.
Yes.
That, okay, all right, well, if you're willing to go there, I can take another step closer. That kind of thing. And when it comes to listening to people or going to see people and people who inspire, they have to show you their struggle. Otherwise, you think, well, you don't come from the same place I do. How do you know? That's
Yeah,
That's
you're
really
right. The most
important.
impactful ones are the ones that get up there and just puke it all out.
Oh, absolutely.
So they know that they're relatable.
Yeah.
And I've always said you cannot really help people past the point that you've been yourself. So it's interesting how people in my business they'll come to me and I'm like, wow, I've been there. I know how you feel. And it's because of that.
That is so true. Because, when we were talking to Rihanna and Dana.
Yeah.
Rihanna, Dana.
Oh,
Oh my God. What? Anyway.
That's perfect.
Rihanna,
How
Rosanna,
did we not
Dana.
think about that
I don't know.
before?
I
That's
know.
funny.
You guys need to have them on together. And that needs to be a name of the podcast.
Rihanna, Dana.
Rihanna.
Anyway.
Just saying.
But listening to them tell their stories and where they came from as well
Sure.
makes total sense. Yeah.
You're always led. That's what I feel like. That's why I say that your purpose actually comes out of the ashes of your own story is what I think. And your life experiences helps you shape you to help others. And so
2021,
Yeah.
I think Rihanna said this and probably Dana did too,
Yeah.
about 2021 being a year of like growth for people. And
yeah.
so is it because 2020 for a lot of people was the ashes, was rough. It was really bad. So they're
It was
learning
like-
from that and coming up and really elevating 2021 and their experiences this year.
Absolutely.
2020 was like scorched earth. It was like the forest fires.
Yeah.
But after that happens, the regrowth is amazing.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
It's the rising up time now,
Yeah.
which is great. I heard intuitively about a year and a half ago, God was showing me that the next year, which was 2020, would be a year of change, a year of growth and like mass awakening. And what I've heard spiritually from other healers as well, the amount of people that are awakened on the planet right now will triple over the next 3 years. And so healers really need to be in their spot to help people understand what they're going through, because awakening, you start noticing things differently. You start getting more clear in your purpose. You start seeing more of the truth, and you start feeling more connected to the spirit world. And when that's not normal for you, people have a hard time understanding it. And a lot of times they think they're literally something wrong with them.
They're crazy.
They're
Yeah.
going crazy.
Well, that's
in
why they think
quotes.
people
Yeah.
that are blessed like you are and Rihanna and Dana, that they think they're whack jobs. They're crazy.
Woo-woo.
Woo woo. Because
Yeah.
I can't see it. I don't believe it. Blah.
Yeah.
They
I don't have an ounce of woo woo in me, Pat.
Yeah. No, not at all.
I'm just a free spirit. No, it's interesting because I think you're right. There's two kind of camps that I work with. A lot people that are skeptical, and by the end of it, they're not, and they're crying, and they're like, "Oh my gosh, thank you. I thought I was told I was crazy my whole life, and I'm not. Thank you." And then the people that are awakened as well, and just find more of their soul family when
Yeah.
they come to me. But
a lot more people are open to talking now too, because they see other people doing it. I think too, because
That
they're-
helps.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's a little more acceptable to say, I want to know more about this,
Yeah.
because before it would be like, what?
Mm-hmm.
And you didn't want to hear that, so you just kept it in. again, and it's funny that same saying comes back into mind again, and probably more so just listening to you talk about hindsight is 2020. How more appropriate
It is exactly. It's
as
perfect.
far as getting your eyes opened
Yes.
to what really happened. Your hindsight is 2020, and it really is 2020 now. And it's just crazy that that's the year that happened in.
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
with all this awakening happening over the next 3 years, what does the world look like in 3.5 years from now?
I think what I see when I look forward is people are more connected. They drop down their guard. People are more open to what they're really meant to be doing here. I believe, and even when I worked in corporate, I had this vision of like corporate kind of falling, that it looks different, that there's not so much of a hierarchy, that we're all valued for who we are and the innate gifts that we are given. And I have flashes of like true Native American times where it's you love the earth, you respect the earth, you respect each other, and what you've been given, more bringing God back into the center of our lives. That's what I see. And I also see people using more of their gifts to create a livelihood for themselves instead of being chained to a job that they're not fulfilled with. I see more people following their true heart. I think that spirit has a way of shaking us up and getting us to wake up. I think we have a lot of, in my opinion, it just kind of went down a path that I don't feel was really the ultimate path that we were meant to go down. So even Pat, when you say, maybe people looking at someone like me that's really connected, we're all connected. We're all spirit first. We're just having an experience here. And it's like our crowns chakra, literally. I feel like a lot of people have shut theirs down to their connection to the heavenly realms. And I think there's going to be more of a following our hearts and looking at things different and saying it doesn't have to be the way that it's been the last however many years just because that's the way it's been.
It's funny you said that about corporate too, is because last year it shook everybody up and realized that you can still make it through.
Yeah.
Somewhat people's lives don't look anything like they did in 2019, but they're still around. They're still making ends meet. House payments are being made. Families okay. So they realize, man, I don't have to be in that job, that 8 to 5, whatever, grind every single day with a job I hate. So
on the flip side of that, though, you have people that are in the upper echelons that are kicking and screaming to keep it status quo. Sure. Because that's where it's being revealed that, we really don't need this many layers of management. Sure. Because people are working from home. And I read an interesting article about the work from home thing and the kids working from home, talking about even Pat's kids experienced it. One flourished, the other one suffered. That maybe it's not everybody stay home. Maybe it's not everybody go to school. Maybe it's a combination. Yeah. What works best? So if you're better at as a work at home, kind of like you would have studies that you would take in college where you kind of worked at your own pace, but you knew this was your ultimate goal. You had to get to here by the end of the year, and they were self-motivated. Yeah. They can do it. But then for other kids, they need that push.
Well, now we don't have to worry about.
Same with people that work.
I know it's probably sucks for kids, but we don't. I think the snow days it's effectively gone because the kid last Friday when we had all the schools got canceled, didn't have to go. But sure enough, e-learning 8:00, you're logging into your Zoom class.
There were some schools that weren't too. And,
really?
And I saw people posting. It's like, wait a minute, did we just not go through 8 months of working, of doing school from home?
Yep.
We have this in place. Why are we having a snow day?
Right.
I don't think you need snow days. And we even had this conversation about national holidays and having a day off of work. Well, do we really need? I mean, I get it. I get the concept of it. If you're doing a 40-hour work week where you have to go in and that's a perk. But it used to be your benefits were part of the employment package. You'd get those perks, which made the employment at this business better than the other one. That's back in the days when they offered you insurance. Those were just perks. They weren't requirements. And they offered you so many days off. Well, now that everybody's working essentially from home or do they still take those days off? Do you still not work on Saturday and Sunday? I work on Saturday and Sunday. I know you do too. Pat does. If you log in and you do some stuff, right? Yeah. It doesn't feel like that same structure.
But I remember when before in corporate land, it was Friday 10:05 out. You just didn't even think about it because you were so structured to do that you didn't think about work on the weekend, not until Monday, whatever. But now that's all changed because your work and your home life have kind of mixed together.
Yeah, and I think that's what we're supposed to have. I think we're supposed to have freedom, and we're not supposed to we're not created to be down here and just be stressed and work, and that's what's important. And I think honestly, I feel like God's hand has been on all of this to bring us back to what's important.
I think you're right.
And I think we were all just running around almost, to me, it's like almost being zombies, you know, like, okay, I'm just going to go do this. I have to do this. This is what's important. And I think our children were set to the side because of that. And in people's lives, people weren't having the home lives and the structure freedom to do things that they really want to do and follow their heart. I believe we're here to live our best life, and that's in all of us. Whatever that is for us is going to be different. We all have different purposes, but I see more and more people saying, I'm not going to live another 20, 30, 40 years the way that I have just because of security or sense of security.
Yeah.
So I think more people are going to have balance, and that's what we're supposed to have. And it's the people around us that are the most important. And I think if I look at myself even 5 years ago, I was so focused on responsibility, getting up, working, and trying to build my business on the side, that I wasn't taking enough time for the people that really matter. And I think that that's what this is showing us.
Yeah.
That's interesting, because even everything right down to our viewing habits, watching TV is all of a sudden not top of the list.
Not even close.
Right? Isn't that crazy? Because it used to be, there was a structure around what shows are on Tuesday night, what shows are on, Friday, every Friday night, you watch X, Y, and Z. Everybody, and we used to also, that's something that's missing. And so people are trying to restructure that or find a new way to do it, is we had a lot more things in common because we all watched the same TV shows. And then we talked about them the next day, like The Bachelor was on. Then we all talked about them the next day. There wasn't, up until just a real few years ago, that they had on demand so widespread. Most people watched things as they happened. And that was in common. And their schedules were in common. And there's the groups of people that they would see. You go to the grocery store, you'd see the same person there. You'd go get your haircut, you'd see the same people there. And you don't have that, even though those people aren't really part of your life, but they are the people that you see on a daily, just on the daily. Right. And we didn't for last year.
Yeah. We have a lot of connections that either faded away or some that maybe came closer. And, when you're talking, JT, I just think about all the distractions that we allow in our life. And I think a lot of distractions have been removed, and that's uncomfortable for people because then they have to look at themselves and they have to look at their own life and really see who they are on the inside. And I stopped watching TV 10 years ago. I made that conscious decision, and I get antsy. I can't sit there and watch TV. I have to live my life. But I remember I was around 30 when I decided to stop watching TV, and I was like, I don't want to sit here and watch other people's lives. I want to go. I want to go live my own. And it was this feeling of, I've spent so much time in front of the TV, and I really loved American Idol, by the way. I could watch that all day long. But I was a TV watcher at that time, and I was just like, I'm not interested anymore. And I'm like, I don't want to be older and say, my memories are either looking at my phone, looking at social media, or watching TV.
Wow.
No, thank you.
You've missed so much, though. You've missed so much.
Think about that, though, that what she just said.
Yeah.
That you look back and all your memories are of watching other people
live their life.
Yeah,
I want to live my own.
Yeah, no, that's true. Yeah. I agree with that 100%.
We were going through old pictures of my dad's. And the last couple of weeks we've been, because it's kind of been a project, be reassembling a bunch of pictures in a photo album, get them in order chronologically, and him then going through them. We've gone through them now twice. And Dad just turned 85.
Oh.
And he's doing great.
Happy birthday
and
to him.
We had fried chicken. And so, and anyway, he was happy. But we went through all the pictures again. There's 100 of them going through these pictures, and they have different people in them from different places. And these are from his childhood to early 20s. He remembers everybody's name. I don't remember the last name of people I went to grade school with. And he remembers all these people, and they were the adults that were in his life that he worked with or worked for, and he's going through and then telling stories about each one of them and all this stuff. All those memories were locked up, but that's what he was doing with his time as a teenager in early 20s. He wasn't watching TV, right? Because at that time that wasn't an option, but I was just wow. The memories that are in there of all these people, and fun memories, and going through this, I'm like,
that's beautiful.
Would I be able to do that?
I would love it if I had the technology we have now back when I was growing up, because my kids are going to have a million pictures of all their kids, all their friends, all their everything.
Yeah.
I've got 50, and I'm sure your dad's probably even less.
That's he has these pictures.
Right. So it'd be great if he could go back and scan through something and see 10,000 pictures of random parties and family events and all that. So I do wish that we could have taken pictures back then, but
I'm kind of okay with it. Really, I'm kind of okay with it.
I would love to look
It's a
back-
double-edged sword.
Yeah.
It really.
I love pictures.
I know, so do I. I love going back, especially now, and looking at pictures, what I can find of high school and like my early 20s. And just remembered how much fun it was. It was just so much fun. Knowing my kids are getting into that time frame of their life and just remembering how fun it was.
Yeah, and how time does go so fast.
Yeah, it does.
I think when you said, Pat, that 2020 kind of whirled by, it did. And it's always moving forward. So to remember, when I work with people, I find that people that really are the happiest in life, and if I look back at my own life, it's really not wishing for time to pass us by. I mean, I know a lot of people joked like 2020, are you over yet? But to really sit in the fact that, okay, this is where we are and this is happening for a reason, and let's really soak up the good stuff of it. There were a lot of hard times, but I think when things open back up again, we'll be so much happier to be able to be together.
And our bar is set so much lower now for happiness because honestly, I was talking to my kids about this weekend, and that they're going to feel like they can go with a group of friends to the movies, and they can go out to dinner without wearing masks and having 10 feet between each person, and it'll be that, just saying that, and that's going to make you happy. It's like, oh man, in 2019 it would have taken a lot more to make you guys happy.
Absolutely.
2020 has, and that also exposed a lot of the hypocrisy too of what was going on this last year. Because you're talking about people staying 6 to 10 feet apart, waiting in line to go to the movies, and then sitting right next to each other. Same way in the airports, there's a picture of people waiting in the line to get checked, and they're 6 feet apart, and then it shows a picture of the airplane packed with people.
Right,
and it's
I know, it doesn't make any sense.
Okay, this is so crazy.
It doesn't make it. You know.
Sometimes there's like no rhyme or reason. Right?
I know.
Yeah, it's like, you guys see this, right? You understand that contactless delivery, but yet you're putting in the back of my car, you're still
Yes.
whatever.
So, Will, you're right about lowering the bar, because it has just kind of exposed some things that are like, okay, we can do so much better.
Right.
And you're right. I think that things will start to open back up, and people will start making better connections, maybe making better choices.
Yeah.
Right?
And enjoying each other. I mean, when you go to, I haven't been actually out to a restaurant in a very long time, but sometimes you're out at a restaurant, you see people sitting together, a family, and they're all looking at the phones. We've all done that. My family teases me, like, get off your phone. I'm like, I have a client. I'm trying to schedule an appointment. Okay. Anyways, but I've been trying to be better about that and manage and balance my social media time, because Facebook is probably my addiction, if anything. But, it's sad when you look and you see that people aren't really connecting. And that kind of goes back to what we were talking about with the not wanting TV. I find that our connection with each other, people are so fascinating and so interesting. And so why would you choose to, it's almost like showing, oh, I'm bored, or boredom from that, but it just becomes an addiction because it's dopamine in the brain when we get that little red like on Facebook or whatever it is. But I think coming back to a place of enjoying those around you and really looking into their eyes and having moments with people around you and making connections, that's what's always been important. I love people. And I'm way more interested in people's stories than some made up story, I just really find people fascinating, the things people go through.
It's like, oh, I have another perfect post.
Yeah.
Like
The Bachelor and
But I
Bachelorette
do
is
love
not
Facebook.
fake. They're not made up fake. I'm just saying, just so you know.
Oh, that's funny.
that's one memory you won't give up.
No. I'll be happy I was there to watch Dale and Claire walk off into the sunset.
Back in my TV days, a Bachelor was another one I was maybe addicted to too. But
It's funny because I think Hollywood's going to have to completely restructure itself and figure out a better way, because reality shows obviously cannot happen the way they did, at least right now, until things turn back around.
They're trying.
They're trying.
All the housewives are wearing those masks. they look like absolute freaking clowns because they have the whatever, like the sneeze guard buffet masks on, but they're tipped up like visors. Like, you guys are Kelly
it's pretty
Dodd.
sad when you walk into
my
Target
God.
and you see the cutest face mask and you're excited about
Right?
that
And
purchase. That happens to me all the time. I'm like, oh my gosh, it's pink with flowers. I need to get that
You
one.
know what really sucks back on the connecting with people is that with these face masks, it's hard to connect with people in stores.
Yeah,
Not
it
that
is.
you would always, but you can't even smile or like when you come up carts on each other, you just end up looking at each other like you're glaring. But really, you're smiling. You're like, oh, sorry, go ahead. But it looks like you're pissed.
And even if you say
yeah.
something, they can't understand.
No.
I've thought about that too. I'm a Target shopper. I'm not going
Love
to lie.
it.
But I actually think, so the eyes are the windows to the soul. And I've thought it's interesting that we have to cover up the rest of our face pretty much. But looking into someone's eyes and that's kind of vulnerable, right?
Yeah.
And like, that's what we're forced to do. But
Yeah.
yeah, you're right. I've seen people, I'm like, are they not
Right.
liking me? Yeah.
Yeah.
Even when I've done some readings, I wear face masks.
Like, I
and
don't want
I'm
her to think I
that's
was mad.
hard. Yeah.
Right. It's tough.
Yeah. It's
It
like,
is
yeah,
tough.
I think we should all just start winking at each other.
Yeah, or like smile with your like,
Yeah.
like, but then as soon as we
Crazy
can take
eyes.
the masks off, then we're gonna look like
Yeah.
super lunatics.
Crazy guys.
Right, because you'll keep doing it.
Yeah, you're like, hey, how you doing? Hey, what's wrong with that guy?
I feel sorry for kids sometimes, the little ones that I'm like, oh, they think this is normal. And that's
true.
You know,
I just got a notification
Yeah.
from my Target app.
oh
Get
my
out.
God. That's meant I
Yep.
need to go Target after here.
Yep.
Do you want to do a Target?
I would
run
love to
with
do
me,
a
Kat?
Target. And see, here's what I do. Is I
See
go,
what we can find.
Oh, we could tear it up. My wife and I go. Yesterday we were in Papillion. I'm like, we should probably stop by Target. We don't come down here this often, that often at all. And she's like, well, we don't need anything at Target. I'm like, dude, does anybody ever need anything at Target? No, but
Well, you need to go to Target to find out what you need.
I know.
That's
Target,
the thing. Target will tell you.
Mother Target tells you.
Target gets me every time.
Yeah. Do you do the clearance runs? The clearance
I
end?
love it.
Clearance is
I found like
yeah,
two
the best.
dresses the other day that I was eyeing for a while, and they were on the clearance rack.
It's
13
great.
something. It's
It's
the
so
best.
such a good deal. And the little meat deals.
yeah.
You go from clearance rack to meat deals.
I know. I'm like, I look at the
manager
dresses, Pat,
special.
sorry.
I do manager specials.
I do the meat last because then I can get it in my car and get it home in the fridge. But you look for the different colored coupons, and when you find a $5 off coupon off something that was $7.99, that's what's for dinner, yo. Whatever it is, I don't care what it is.
That's called dopamine.
It's whatever. That is called dopamine. I don't care what it's called, but it's fun. It is. It's like
That's the best.
You get excited.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
It's
Oh
the
my
little
God.
things. It goes back to, I want to wrap all this up with gratitude.
Very
Because
grateful.
truly, I think that even though this has been a hard year, looking at the gratitude and starting 2021 with some freshness, like we're more resilient than we've ever been, bright side of things, right? We've gotten through some challenges. And I think there's going to be a lot more beautiful things to come. But when I find myself getting into anxiety mode or panic, it's like, what am I grateful for? And the list is so long. It's longer than I can even, write out on one sheet of paper.
And most of us, it is longer than we want to, that we can really sit there
we
and
realize.
count. We just don't take the time to do it.
Yeah. I
Just a
feel
quick
so
second.
grateful for this year. My business has expanded and grown. And I was telling Pat that I've been doing a lot of virtual sessions and sessions with people across the country, which I had asked my spirit guides for. Speaking of spirit guides, they do listen and they help you. But I feel so grateful that I've been able to get through this challenging time.
Let me ask
meet
you
a lot of new people.
When you talk spirit guides, real quick here, if people are looking like they're wanting, it's like, okay, if I have a spirit guide, how do I find them?
Yeah.
How do I connect? What do I need to do?
Yeah.
What do you need to open up?
So it's, first of all, you do need to be open to that connection, right? And I tell people a lot of times meditation is a great way to ask them to come in and see who you energy, or if you get a vision of that spirit guide. I am going to do more classes this year. So that's actually a class I teach, and I walk people through a meditation. I'm going to do a lot of virtual classes. So look at my page for those. Spirit guides is one that I connect people with, and spirit animals. They're so fun. But it's really asking your spirit guide to reveal themselves. And I have one particular spirit guide of mine that I love, and he shows me feathers, and I'll be talking to him. And there was this one day last September, I was talking to him, and then I keep walking, and there's a big turkey feather, and I'm like, "Aw, thank you." And he is Native American. I had a Native American past life that it was one of my favorite lives of all my lifetimes. That's not a
all your
Facebook live, but my
okay.
life.
That's another podcast
Of all
right
my
there.
Facebook Lives,
Yeah.
that's my favorite one.
But it's that's my favorite one.
That's my favorite Facebook Live ever.
But it's really asking, and meditation helps people when they're beginners to quiet their minds and try to come to a place of, I always tell people to go to a field or a beach or wherever there's a happy place, and then just ask that spirit to connect with you. Most of us have between 3 and 5 spirit guides. I find most often there's the main spirit guide that people have is going to be with them their whole entire life. And then there might be spirit guides that come and go. I've had spirit guides pop in that, it's so magical. I've had different places on earth that they lived in their lifetime. I've had, different past life experiences they've had. It's really amazing. But spirit guides are actually ascended souls that have come to earth many, many times, and they are at a place now in their own evolution that they can guide somebody else. And a lot of times people think, well, should I ask my spirit guide to help me? Am I putting too much pressure? No, that's what they're there for. And what I have found is that they actually evolve on a soul level as well by helping you. So spirit guides, it's not that they don't get any type of growth out of it. They do. And typically it's if they didn't learn some type of soul lesson they were meant to learn in their lifetimes, instead of having to come back down again, they can help you and get that lesson.
That's interesting.
It's just like Clarence. That's how he got his wings.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Right?
JT, yes. Thank you. You're piecing all of that together.
Yeah.
I am. I'm seeing this all.
Yes.
When you're talking about coming in for certain things, some come into your life and then they go away. Same as some friends.
Yes.
You make connections and then the connection does what it's supposed to do, whether it was for you or for them. And then it separates. It's okay.
Yes. Reason, season, lifetime.
Thank you.
And it's meant to be. And sometimes we are each other's guides here on earth. And I think when I do a lot of spiritual work, what's really interesting is we don't always look at ourselves as these sacred spiritual beings, but we are. We look just because maybe they're in heaven and they're on the other side, that they're spiritual and there's something really amazing about them, but so are we. And I think we are remembering our spark of divinity within ourselves too.
Oh, I like that.
And there is connection. We're all connected and we're all one. And that's the big message I've been getting lately with our world right now is unity. We have to come together and we are one. And the dark seeks to separate. And what is the dark doing right now? Separating, right?
Big time.
And so for me, I just speak love and unity, and you can love everybody no matter what their journey is or their beliefs are. And the light, God, the light wants to bring us back together. And I think it's a healing time, and I know the light will win. I already know that. It's already been written. But to get there, we have to let our guards down and love each other.
There we go.
It's a great way to
So
end
how
it.
do they find
Great
you?
way to end it. AngieMontgomery.com is my website. And then, like I said, Facebook Lives. I do a lot of those, and people can find me on Facebook and message me there at Angie Montgomery.
And watch for the classes.
Yes, watch for the classes.
You're awesome.
Thank
Thank you. You guys are awesome.
Except for the bun cake. You are so
I
awesome.
thought I was going to get brownie points with that.
You are totally
But
getting brownie
She got
points.
bundt cake
Yeah,
points.
you did. Those are much better bundt cake points.
Yes.
Thanks, Angie.
Thank you, guys.
You got it. Pat and JT Hey at Pat and JT, whatever. I flipped it around. Or 402-403-9478. Text us.
Pat and JT Podcast, a Hurrdat Media Production.